Hey guys, lepedaler back with another video. Today I'll be taking a look at all the giant Contend ARs across all the models and see where the key difference is. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. If you guys are a new viewer, I highly suggest you like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's the only way we're going to get these bikes in hand for me to test, and that's the real goal on this channel, is that I don't want to just talk about the specs. I really want to get these bikes in hand and give you guys thorough testing. I say this all the time, so for the viewers that do know this, I do ride a lot. Feel free to follow me on Instagram and Strava to see for yourself. That's only going to help my social media presence grow so we can actually get these bikes in hand. But the reason why I say that is because a lot of the time when you're on YouTube looking for bikes and seeing how they really perform, it's very challenging. At least that's what I found, especially when I've made informed purchases as a consumer myself for bike products, is that you want someone that is really going to do the thorough testing and give you guys an unbiased look at whatever you're looking at. So that's the real goal of this channel. And for the people that have already been subscribing and liking the videos, I really do appreciate the patience you guys have and the support, because we've grown so much. We're almost at 500 subscribers, so I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. I know this is a little rant, but it's important because this wouldn't be possible without you guys really supporting the channel, so I'm just very appreciative of that. And if you're a viewer and this is your first time landing on my channel, or you've recently subscribed, don't worry, this is not the only content I plan on posting in the not so distant future. Yes, I do like looking at bikes and giving comparisons and showing you guys how I think and make informed purchases myself, but I will be adding some training content, some training tips, a lot of outdoor content coming outside. I'm getting some equipment as we speak, so as soon as the weather warms up here in Canada, there'll be a lot of content outside giving you guys tips and tricks on the bike, and even just some day-to-day training stuff. So if you guys want to see that, feel free to stay tuned for that. And also giving you guys some indoor training tips as well with Zwift, and just a lot of content. So if you guys love cycling, you guys love cycling content, this is the channel, and I'm more than willing and excited to give you guys that content. So without taking too much of your time, let's get right into comparing all these giant Contend ARs. So I'm currently going to be wearing this hat for a while because I have not got around to cut my hair, so I call it the quarantine hairstyle. And you can see it says Cervelo, so I used to ride a Cervelo, but I ride a Giant now. But will I ever get a Giant hat? I don't know. They should send me one. But we are on the Giant website as we speak right now, and we're making a bike comparison against all the Contend AR models. So those are the 2020 editions, and those come in the Contend AR1, Contend AR2, and Contend AR3. Now, what's so nice about the Contend AR, if you guys aren't familiar, I'll show you guys the Contend AR1 because it is my favorite just based on the color. It only comes in gunmetal black and metallic red, so really nice colors. I like cherry red myself, but I'm very minimalistic, as I've said on this channel, so I usually go for the gunmetal black or just black in general. And you can see this bike is super nice. So what the intention of the Contend AR is, it's still a level entry bike or someone that's just getting into the sport, but it's definitely fitness based. You are spending $15.50 USD, so it is a good chunk of money, but it's such a good bike. So what I love about this bike is that not only is it designed for road, but it's designed for some gravel, some light gravel, because it has a wide tire clearance, and that's where I feel like a lot of the cycling in general is going to. So when I started cycling around 2015, 2016, when I started riding, it was primarily just road cycling. Gravel was not big at all, or off terrain stuff. So as the scene has improved, I myself never thought I would get into gravel riding, but as you get more into the sport, you realize that sometimes you don't want to have to deal with cars coming really close to you, especially if you don't live in a super nice area where cars are respectful, or maybe where there's a lot of shoulder on the road. Gravel is such a good alternative because you can just find a really good section of gravel roads and kind of do loops and make a trail out of that, and you really don't have to worry about cars coming in contact with you often, because it's usually like one or two cars that come on these roads to begin with, because it's so out of the normal transit routes. So gravel is awesome, and I feel like bikes are becoming more hybrid, and that's why I myself would be really looking forward to maybe getting a disc brake road bike in the future, so I can have a dual setup where if I slap on some wider tires, I can do some gravel stuff, and it's more mixed terrain. So I love mixed terrain. It's getting really popular, and that's what the Contend AR is, the primary focus of it. So it's like a high budget performing mixed terrain road bike / gravel bike. So right off the bat, we're going to compare all three models, and I'll just show you guys really quick what are the key differences. So on the Contend AR, you're getting basically giant defuse technology. So I'll show you guys right here what that means. And tell me if you guys like this new format. I'm going to try to maybe, depending on the website and brand in the future, sometimes they have a comparison feature. If not, I'm just going to go one by one like I usually do. But I'll try to use this comparison feature. Let me know if you guys do enjoy that. So for the Contend AR, we're looking at it, and you have something called defuse technology, which you don't get on these ones, from what I can see right here with, oh sorry, that was the handlebar. So for the seat post, they all have giant defuse technology. So what giant defuse technology is basically it allows the seat post to actually flex. And that's really nice because a lot of the road vibrations are going to be in the back, in the rear of the bike. So, you know, if you can dampen that and disperse the road vibrations, it's going to alleviate some of the pain that you have in your back. So I myself have it on my gravel / cyclocross bike, and I absolutely love it. So I love that technology. Now, where I made the confusion was the handlebars on the giant Contend AR1 have the defuse technology too. So there will actually be, there's a video somewhere online where the handlebars actually flex, and that's important too, because if you're doing some off terrain, mixed terrain, gravel stuff, it's going to be quite bumpy, and a lot of that can translate into your shoulders and your wrists, and it's really uncomfortable, especially if you're doing a long ride. So anything when you get into mixed terrain that can alleviate some of that vibration is really important, but you don't get that feature on the Contend AR2, and you don't get it on the Contend AR3. But again, look at the price differences. So I feel like right off the bat, note that's a great added performance benefit that you get. So I'll talk about the price and which one I think is the best. So in terms of the frames, they're all getting aluminum frames, but they do come with carbon fiber forks. So that's really nice because that just decreases the weight in total of the bike. So as you guys can see, for the fork, it says right here, advanced grade composite on all three models. So that's really nice to see that you're getting a carbon fiber fork even on a $1,000 bike. Now, in terms of the shifters, the drivetrain, this is where I feel like it gets really important, just because this is what basically makes up the guts of the bike and overall the experience of the bike. So you can see on the Contend AR1, you get the solid Shimano 105 full hydraulic. So what that means, we'll look at it right here, is that other than the crank, which they always put a cheaper crank, especially for these budget bikes, because you know, if they can save you $200, $300 and get the overall same performance, and the only thing that's slightly slacking is the drivetrain, which I don't feel is significantly dampening, especially if this is just your first or maybe your second bike that you're getting into cycling. I don't think it's necessarily that important, especially if you do plan on maybe purchasing a dual side power meter in the future, which I've talked about on my channel. Power is super important if you do want to become a stronger cyclist. So they do put a cheaper crank set, which is the Shimano FCRS 510, which is usually what they put on 5034, meaning it's a compact chain set, which is very good for climbing and just overall spinning of the gears. You're not really under load with a big gear. It's smaller, which is great for beginner cyclists, or just even if you want to be more efficient on the bike. You usually get a bigger one, a semi-compact, or even a compact when you get really, really strong and you can, you know, need that extra benefit. But anyways, back to the bike, you're getting a full 105 hydraulic, meaning that right here, that's where the fluid is kept, and there's no mechanical, so it's all fluid. And basically, if you guys aren't familiar, hydraulic is really good because it's the best braking performance that it has to offer, just because it's consistent. Where if you look at the Contend AR3 really quick, you can see it's cables, and cables stretch, so you would have to either consistently adjust it, but the modulation you'll get on the Contend AR1 in terms of performance, hydraulic fluid is always the best way to go. And let's see what you get on this one. So Shimano 105, I feel like is the baseline, especially if you get, you know, somewhat serious in terms of cycling 3 times, 4 times a week. 105 is a great group set that's going to last and really perform. I like how they put an 1134 rear cassette at the back. Just really good gear combination. This is for someone that's, you know, if you're doing long days in the saddle. I myself have this setup right now on my road bike, and even for someone that races, I find that's really amazing. There's only some slight criticism that I have on it because I am somewhat strong, I would say. So there's some situations where I would like to have maybe a bigger crank set, but honestly guys, it's totally fine. I'm not getting dropped because I don't have it. Now if we look at the Contend AR2, it has Tiagra. So I made a video on my channel about the different group sets. So Tiagra is actually a 10 speed. So that's a big difference too that I really want to note too. Eventually I want you guys to become familiar with yourselves between the different group sets, but the 105 is 11 speed. So there's 11 gears at the back. And then when we go to the Contend AR2, there's 10 speed. And if we follow the trend, this is Sora. So I'm assuming Sora is 9 speed. So you have Sorry, that's not Sora. This is Sora on the Contend AR3. So you have the Contend AR1 that has 11 gears, 11 speed. You have Contend AR2 that has 10 speed, and you have the Contend AR3 which has 9 speed. So the big difference when we look across the model is that from 105 to Tiagra to Sora, it's going to get heavier. It's not going to be as smooth. And I made a video on my channel, so I'll link in the description for all these videos when I make comparisons. So if you guys aren't familiar, you can watch me explain a little bit more in depth. But usually it's just the group sets, as you decrease in price, it gets heavier and it's not as smooth in terms of shifting. Now, one thing on the Contend AR2 model, I'm just going to say this retails for $1,300 USD, comes in two colors, metallic blue and white. I absolutely love the white, but as I always say, you know, bikes get dirty, especially with grease, so that's a hard bike to maintain, but the blue is actually pretty nice. If we look here, so this is hydraulic, meaning that it has fluid, but this is what I don't like about it, guys. I'll show you right here. So I actually found a picture of what the bike looks like from the front, and you can see it has something going on. So this is called the Giant Conduct system. It's basically taking a mechanical shifter, and that you would usually have on, as you can see on the Contend AR3, you would have mechanical cables doing the braking. On the Contend AR2, you don't have that. You have hydraulic, but it's like, wait, how do you make a mechanical turn into a hydraulic braking system? And that's through Giant's own Conduct system. So that's where the fluid is. Basically, when you push these levers, it turns it into, this pulls a wire which pulls the fluid and makes the fluid turn into hydraulic. So basically, in short terms, without being a scientist, is that it's taking mechanical braking levers and making it into a hydraulic system. It's not going to be as good as the AR1 that's already, you know, designed to be hydraulic. It's going to be significantly better than the AR3, which is mechanical. So that's why it's the AR2. It's in between both in terms of performance. But, you know, if you're looking to save some money, it can be a definitely good performance benefit if you want to upgrade from the AR3 if you guys are on a budget. Now, in terms of everything else, the rims, on the most expensive, you get the PR2s, which are on the AR1. On the AR2, you get the SR2s, and those are the same ones that you get on the Contend 3. Now, in terms of the difference performance, I think the PR2s, I've ridden all these rims. The PR2s are a pretty solid rim. I don't have a problem with it. The difference between rims also is just the hubs, the overall componentry on the PR2s are just going to be slightly better than the SR2s. I wouldn't say significantly better. You probably wouldn't be able to tell, but in terms of longevity, these are probably going to stay relatively better in shape when compared to the SR2s, but not the end of the world. In terms of the tires, you're getting Giant Gavia Fondo tires. I really am a fan of those. They're tubeless, meaning that there's no tubes inside of it. It's all tubeless. Really good if you want to run low tire pressure. Running lower tire pressure is really nice because it absorbs a lot of the road vibrations, and those are 32 millimeters. Now, I'm pretty sure with the Contend, in terms of tire clearance, you're easily able to probably squeeze a 38 millimeter, but usually they suggest running something lower just because they don't want to claim something, because it all depends on tire manufacturers and how wide they sit on the bead of the rim and whatnot. So 32 millimeters stock is still amazing, especially if you're doing some light gravel. This bike isn't a dedicated gravel grinder where you need to run like 45 millimeter tires. It's 32 millimeter tires, super good. Now, other than that, the defuse technology, you're only lacking on the Contend AR2 and the Contend AR3 in the handlebars. Now, that's basically the biggest comparison between all the models. So if you want a quick summary, the reason why also, I don't want to see any comments saying, oh, these videos are so long, get to the point. The reason why you have to take your time with these videos and really understand the key differences is because, you know, you're spending almost 1,500 USD, or at least on the bare minimum, even if you went with a Contend AR3, you're spending 1,000 USD, and you want to make sure that you get the right bike for you. So going through this methodical, logical, and really seeing where the key differences and maybe where you will get, you know, the payoff in terms of, hey, if I spend an extra $500 in the long term, that $500 will work for me versus spending $1,000 and be like, man, I should just spend an extra $500. Now I want to upgrade. Like that was a waste of my time. And if I would have maybe taken the time to understand it more, I would have made a better informed purchase. So that's the way I think. I know a lot of you guys are reciprocating that, and I do appreciate that, because the whole point of this channel is to make sure that you guys learn from my mistakes and take some advice and some wisdom from me and apply it to when you guys make decisions. So, you know, I just want to see some positivity. I don't really want to see any negativity where people say these videos are long. I make these because I genuinely want to see you guys on bikes that you're going to ride, that you all like. So now is a quick summary. So on the cheapest AR3, you're getting lower rims, you're getting a lower group set that's going to be a little bit heavier, a little bit harder to shift. It is 9-speed, so 9 gears at the back. It is mechanical braking, so hydraulic braking with fluid, pushing the pistons in is way better than having the cable pulled and pushing the pistons in. So I do like the hydraulic side on the more expensive ARs. And other than that, you don't get the defuse technology in the handlebars. And on the more expensive one, you're basically getting the handlebar technology that's going to dampen road vibrations. You're getting better, lighter rims, are going to be probably better long term. You're getting a lighter group set that is 11 speed to 105, and that's and it's hydraulic, so it doesn't have a cable. So that's the big difference between the more expensive Contend AR ones to the AR3. Now, which one do I suggest? Now, that's a good question that everyone wants to know. Looking at all the Contend AR3s, I do want to show one video really quickly too. It basically is the summary of what the Contend is really made for. So you can see it's mixed terrain. So right now you can see the road that he's on is somewhat paved, or at a point maybe it was paved, but it's pretty much a back road. And that's what the Contend AR is all about. Is that, 1 minute you're riding on the road, the next second you're not. And I think that type of riding is going to get really popular in the following years. So it's, it's really good. Like, it looks like a clean bike. It has a lot of the technology that I suggest that a bike has. And, I would love to test this bike thoroughly, really get you guys my opinion on the riding quality, but that's the whole point of the Contend. And I see a lot of brands going for this mixed terrain type of bike in the not so distant future. Then again, I have ridden with a normal road bike on these terrains, mixed terrain, so it's not like it's impossible. You don't need a dedicated mixed terrain bike. Then again, it's nice when you have for this budget in terms of value for $1,550, you're saving at least 500 to 700 USD compared to the next carbon road bike. So I find like this bike has a very good price range for someone that might not get too serious into like road cycling, club riding, but wants to do some self exploration, some touring, like not touring with like bags and whatnot, but just like exploration touring in terms of like 4 hours, 5 hours, just out and about cycling. So if I had to pick one for the best bang for the buck, in this situation, I usually always go for the mid-tier bike. But in this situation, for an extra 200 USD, or 250 USD, so from the Contend Air 1, I personally wouldn't go for the Contend Air 3 because I'd rather save, $300 more or $500 and get hydraulic braking. I feel like that's significantly better, and having more gears at the back, 9 speeds, pretty limiting. I'd rather have at least 10 or 9, so we're going to exit that. We're not going for that. So now, I'd be debating between the Contend AR2 and the Contend AR1. So the price difference is 250 USD, and let's see what you get in terms of benefit. So right off the bat, you're getting the better handlebars, which are the defuse handlebars that are going to dampen the road vibration. So that's a plus on the Contend AR1. The second thing, you're getting lighter rims, and rims are going to, in terms of maintenance and longevity, you're getting that. So that's an extra bonus. Now, in terms of gear set, you're getting the extra gear set of having an extra gear. So instead of having a 9-speed, 10 speed on the Contend AR2 with the Shimano Tiagra, you're getting the 11 speed to 105. So that's a bonus. And the fourth thing that you're getting on the Contend AR1 that you don't get on the Contend AR2 is on the Contend AR2 you have the hydraulic system where it makes the handlebars very clunky because you're taking the mechanical levers and making them a hydraulic system through Giant's conduct system, which sits at the front of the handlebar. So it really makes that area not so good. And like I said, it does make it hydraulic, but it's not going to be as good as something that's primarily designed as hydraulic, right? Like this is mechanical turning into hydraulic, where on the Contend AR1, it already is hydraulic. So for all those benefits, guys, for an extra 250 USD, that's a no-brainer. I'm going with the Contend AR1, especially with the color. It's super nice. So for 1550 USD, I think you're getting a pretty solid, mixed terrain bike. Yes, it is aluminum, but people that are looking for this bike are not looking maybe to get into racing or to high fast-paced group rides or events. Like this is more for just self-exploration, something that you can ride 3 times a week, especially on the weekends. Just 3 hours by yourself. You're doing some roads, you're doing some back terrain, you're doing maybe some single track, light single track, nothing like mountain bike single track, light single track. This is the bike. This is the exploration bike, and I would absolutely love to test this bike thoroughly because I have amazing terrain where I live, where there's some amazing gravel roads, along with some gravel roads, then turns into a road, then turns back to a gravel road. Then we can go through like a forest section. Like I could do a lot with this bike. So if you guys do want to see that type of content, it's only going to happen with support like from you guys and just the growth of the channel. Like I said, I'm so happy that you guys are receiving the content really well. That's why I make these videos, to help others. I will say this, keep pedaling at the end of my videos, but that's really the goal, is that I want to see everyone on bikes and just enjoying cycling like I do. So if you guys do want to see that type of content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. With the growth, brands like Giant and other brands will send us stuff to review and to really test, which will help you guys. And if you guys can follow me on Instagram and Strava, links in the description. This is going to help my social media presence across other platforms grow. So it's a lot easier to get these bikes in, because there will be a demand from you guys based on the support that I have in terms of followers. So if you guys do want to see that and do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. And until the next one, keep pedaling.